What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be tearing apart that piece of junk motor. It's not that bad. We're going to be tearing apart the 3.8 GDI that comes in the Genesis coupes. This is a BK2. And I know these motors have a reputation of blowing up, spinning rod bearings, lots of issues. So we're going to go ahead and tear this motor apart. And I just want to look at the bottom end of mine. I have no use for this motor anymore, and no one wants it because it's spun a rod bearing. So we're gonna go ahead and tear it apart and honestly just see what we find in the bottom end. I took the oil filter housing off and it was filled with glitter, so it's probably not gonna look too good at the bottom end part. But by the way, if you didn't see my one video on problems with the Genesis coupe, all that glitter you see came out of my oil filter housing. So I'm assuming that's my rod bearing. But that's something you never want to see in your oil. And we got a lot of it. Got the valve cover off over here because I sold that. So I'm pretty much just gonna go ahead and take the other valve cover off and I'll just start tearing it apart. All right, guys, so I've been knocking stuff off this motor for a while now. I've just been taking stuff off. As I go along and remove stuff, if I see anything interesting, I will put it in the video. And I do want to show you guys what I'm finding. And just look at it, it's not good. If you know anything about this, definitely drop a comment on it. But there's one hole. I don't know if you guys can see in there too well. There's another one. It looks like it's like broken off. Check this out, that one looks normal. See that ridge right there? So yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're supposed to look like that. So I'm gonna just say that that's horrible machining. I don't know if those are supposed to be drilled the whole way out or not. I think they are. Looks like they are, and then it's just like they were never actually drilled the whole way out. Else I want to quickly point out on the front cover is, look at this, guys. That is like build up. All right, so we got the cams out. Now we got to crack all 8 head bolts loose on each cylinder head. Make sure you guys charge your impacts so you don't have to do this. Definitely helps a lot. All right, we got all 8 of these head bolts loosened up. So this is actually loose now. Impact miraculously got charged. So we're gonna try and see if we can actually remove these because I was trying to break them by hand and they are freaking tight. Dude, Milwaukee, let's go. Milwaukee, sponsor me. Alright, you're good. Oh, dude, this is like the weirdest cooling system thing I think I've ever seen. The water, what is this? The thermostat's over here. The water pump, I think, was up here. Some weird stuff, Hyundai. I don't know what you're doing, but right now we should be able to get the head off and take a first look. Oh, there's coolant in there. Oh yeah. So for any of you 3.8 liter boost enthusiasts, that to me, I feel would be sketchy to run boost because of how like they're not like sleeved and solid. They're, I don't know, that's weird, man. I wouldn't really feel comfortable running high boost with these, just afraid, you know, it'll crack or do something, but I don't know, people boost them and say they're fine. Who knows? I just want to point out that take everything I say with a grain of salt. I don't know a whole lot about this motor, and at the same time, I'm not like a huge expert on everything going on with it. So again, take it with a grain of salt, but I'm gonna walk you through what I'm seeing so far on the bottom end. We are finally getting very, very low on the engine. Unfortunately, one of the cylinder head bolts got rounded. There's literally one holding on, but we're gonna get that out tomorrow. Here are the heads. It's probably important to remember too, this engine has like 72,000 miles on it. Came out of that car, 2013 Genesis coupe. And I'm gonna show you guys, so this is a gasoline direct injection motor. Basically that means no fuel goes over the valves. The reason why I wanna tell you guys that is the carbon buildup. Now actually this isn't as bad as I anticipated. The spark plug is really bad. It was actually due for spark plug change and I was about to do them and then I spun a rod bearing, so it's kind of good I didn't. But yeah, the spark plugs are junked. This engine did burn a little oil and you guys can see that. I'm not exactly sure why it was burning oil, but you guys can see all the carbon buildup on the valves. Now, if that carbon actually gets, you know, underneath like the valve seats, the valve is not gonna sit properly. I don't think it's that bad right now. But one thing to keep in mind with these motors is that they get really, really carboned up. So I don't know, like 60,000 miles, I actually had the carbon thing done by Hyundai, which kind of sketched me out because I'm not really sure what they did to get the carbon out. I thought it was like walnut blasting, and apparently that's what they said, but I don't really think that's what they did. I don't know what they did, but it also isn't why it blew up either, because it ran for like, you know, 15K after that fine. But yeah, so I did have the carbon like cleaned out of it, and I also ran a catch can and basically tried everything to keep carbon from building up. So we're gonna extract this bolt out, get this head off, pull the trans, and we're gonna start taking apart the bottom end, baby, and pulling all the pistons, rods out, everything, checking all the bearings. We're gonna see exactly what went wrong, and honestly, general opinion on the motor at the end of the video, which honestly, I think you guys can already tell what I think about it. Not a huge fan of it, but is it the worst motor ever? No. Is it the best? No. No. All right, so we got the motor flipped over here. We're gonna go ahead and pull the transmission off, and then we are finally able to check out the bottom end and see the damage. This is where we're gonna find the damage. The rest of the motor didn't look too bad, but I'm sure we're gonna find most of the damage in here. So without further ado, we're just gonna rip this off quick, pull the trans off, and I'll see you guys then. All right, we pulled the pan up off. Lo and behold, we're seeing some signs of damage. That does not look good. Everything in there does not look good. So we're gonna go ahead and remove all this to, actually the whole bottom, to gain access to the whole bottom end of the motor. But just wanted to show you guys the shrapnel we already found in the pan. Yeah. All right guys, so we got the transmission detached from the motor. I had a new flywheel and clutch put on this as well, so they're still looking good, but serve no purpose now. So we're gonna go ahead and try to move this trans out of the way, and we have finally reached the final boss, the bottom end of the motor. Here's the bottom end. Guys, there is one rod bearing. You guys can clearly see that it's spun. And yep, that is a shot spun rod bearing. that is like completely shot. That's only one of many, so.
Wait, you see that?
What?
Stamped, it says made in USA. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, you got me. I know it's not made in the USA, look where we are. Anywho.
The reveal?
Yep. Ooh, that one's not as bad. Still shot. Oh yeah, it's shot. Oh, it would help if I was actually on it with the camera. Sorry about that, guys. But we got our rod bearings. Ooh, it's pretty gouged up there.
I see no problems.
Yeah, you know, I think it's fine. I think we can actually just put this back together and run it, you know, for another 70K. Now, seriously, guys, this is shot. This is big time shot. So we're gonna go ahead and rotate the motor. We're just gonna pull all the rod caps off and take a look at the bearings. Most of the metal I showed you guys that was in the oil is gonna be from metal and metal contact here, just sending metal shrapnel throughout the motor. And as you can see, there's a lot of that. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and take off the rest and just take a final overview of this wonderfully super great engine. Guys, so we got the front two rod caps off. You can see some discoloration here where some heat was built up, but they're not as bad as these two rear ones. So I'm gonna say these were the real problematic ones. This is what sent metal flakes everywhere, but these are definitely still, you know, pretty bad, but yeah, they're pretty bad. But they're actually, yeah, they're just as bad as the rear.
There they grooved, I can't
get
tracking on them.
Remember how I said we thought we found the worst ones? Well, we were wrong. I think this takes the title for the worst rod bearing so far.
Get over here.
Yeah, there's literally metal flakes.
Oh my God, it looks horrible.
Just chilling on there. I mean, that is cooked. That actually might be where most of the metal stuff. I mean, I think it was a mixture of all of them, but that one definitely takes the crown for the worst one that we've seen so far. Yeah, we definitely have a winner here. This is literally, it welded itself to the other piece there. That's how hot it got. Yeah, that is, I don't have words for that, all right? But it's toast. The bearings that fell out, yeah, you guys can clearly, I mean, that is toast. Guys, here's one of the pistons, unsure of what cylinder it is out of. You can see some wear on the sides. Again, it could be because there was metal going around in the oil too. We definitely know the rod bearing was the main failure of this motor. But I did just want to go through the other parts of it and just take a look and see if there's anything else interesting that we see. And at the beginning of the video, you remember I showed you guys the machining that was horrible. I don't know if that has something to play here, but the general consensus is that there's a lubrication problem which makes internal parts overheat and fail. So, all right guys, so we tried to pull the main caps off, and unfortunately they are practically welded on there, so they're not gonna come off. But while we're on the topic of this piece of crap blown motor, the new motor for the Genesis Coupe is coming Saturday, so the video is definitely going to be uploaded way after that, probably a couple days, just because, I mean, I'm backed up. But we are getting the new motor very, very soon, and that is basically going to sum up the engine teardown of the Genesis Coupe 3.8 V6. We have a wide array of parts here. But yeah, so the main failure of this motor was the rod bearings. That is like the number one story you hear around on people who've blown up these engines. They say the rod bearings went, which is the other thing too. So I was gonna try to pull these main caps off, but I wasn't getting any vibrations or anything like that. And you could tell it was rod knock, like it was piston slapped from the rod. So, I mean, I'm not really surprised. I'm surprised at how bad they were, to be honest. But I'm not surprised about, you know, the fine. So everything else on the motor, not so bad. The rod bearings are shot, and then, like I said, I pointed out some of the machining that was bad.